Hi, my name's Tim Wise, founder of Listen Clothing, the Tap Doctor and Wasabi Energy. For 30 years now, I've been passionate about what is real success. What is it that makes us really successful? A big part of this I've found is health. What is it that leads to really optimal health? Being more productive, more present, and more energized in our life. As a teenager, I suffered from really debilitating acne, particularly on my back and my chest. And I also had bouts of times when I just didn't have any energy. I felt down, low, really verging on depression, if not depressed. So I started looking for ways that I could be more energized and more present. This culminated in a course that I did at the Institute of Integrated Nutrition based out of New York. And this taught me so many things from some of the most seminal thinkers in the space. I wanted to come up with an acronym that really described the simplicity of what good health is and how I could describe that in just 4 letters. What I came up with was an acronym called DNEWS. That's right, DNEWS. D-N-E-W-S. Now the first part of that acronym, D, stands for decision. Nothing happens until we make a decision that we want to do something about our health. Now, for a lot of us, this happens when we have a crisis. For me, it was my acne. It got to a point where it was just unbearable and I had to do something about that. But for others, it could be heart disease, it could be cancer, it could be so many other more critical diseases. So when we make that decision, let's make it from a place where we haven't fallen into crisis yet. Let's make it from a place where we're empowered to do something before it's reached a critical level. I recently saw a talk by Ian Gawler. Ian was a cancer survivor who lost one of his legs to cancer. Now, he makes the point very strongly that we're far better to do something about these problems before they occur. In some ways, cancer has been made glamorous in a way. I don't know, it seems anyone has had cancer these days, but there's nothing glamorous about that, nor many of the other crucial diseases we have, such as diabetes, heart disease, etc. The second part of the acronym is N. It stands for nutrition. What is our nutrition? What are we putting in our mouths? Now, just a simple tip that I can give you right off the bat is that cut out the crap. Cut out the processed foods and put good foods in. Now it sounds simple, I know, but it's hard because marketers are throwing stuff at us the whole time. We are imprinted to eat the commercialized and processed foods that are in our supermarkets. One of the ways we can shop for more live foods is to shop around the outside of the supermarket where the fruit and veggies are and the other live produce. So that's just one little tip on nutrition. So we also want to make sure that we focus on putting superfoods in our bodies, and we'll talk about that in some other modules. Nutrition is just so important. Put good stuff in and you'll get good stuff out. Sounds simple, sounds common sense, but unfortunately it's just not common practice. The third letter is E. E stands for exercise. Now again, it's not brain surgery, right? You hear it all the time, but there's a lot that's changing in exercise all the time, and different exercises will suit different people. But really there are 3 types of exercise. There's strength and conditioning, so lifting weights or doing things that will increase your strength, and that could be something like yoga. There's stretching, which yoga and Pilates are very well tuned to. And thirdly, there's aerobic exercise such as running, cycling, swimming, etc. Now what I recommend is to have a mix of all of these, but try and key into what is it for you, what suits your personality best, and try and do something that you love. For me personally, I love doing yoga because it concentrates on strength, it concentrates on stretching, and it also concentrates on aerobic, although I sometimes find I have to supplement that aerobic side because it's not as aerobic as running or swimming and those sorts of things. So what is it for you? Exercise, tailor make it. There's a lot of new things that are coming out around exercise that say maybe we don't have to exercise as much as we thought and that we need to do high impact exercise. That suits some people. Find out what it is for you. Everybody's different. The third part, the W, N-E-W, the W is water. Now water intake is incredibly important, and we hear that we should have 2 litres a day and all that sort of thing. Now that's true, but just be focused on it, just be aware of it. But what I want to emphasize here is not just the quantity of water, which is important, but I want to emphasize the quality of the water, and that in particular, when I do seminars and I ask people to tell me whether they've been drinking tap water, a huge number of people in the audience generally put up their hand. Now this disturbs me greatly because tap water is not always the best source of water. Depending on where you are, it can be very high in chloride, it can be very high in fluorine, and a lot of other elements that can be very damaging to the health, and there's a lot of evidence to support that. So go and get yourself a good quality water filter, even if it's just one of those Brita charcoal ones that you pour into the jug. Those are better than nothing, but other forms are reverse osmosis and other filtration systems that you can find on the market. Other aspects of water include its alkalinity. Now there are also machines that can lower lower the acidity, or make it more alkaline, I should say. So when we make our water more alkaline, it can fight diseases such as cancer and other things that thrive in a more acidic environment, and that's another important element. The fourth part, the S, the NEWS, the S is for sleep. Now, in today's society, sleep is something that we're all not getting enough of. We all should be getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a day, but we're just not. So try and make that up if you can at some point. It might be on the weekend. If you're lucky enough to work for yourself, you might be able to have an afternoon nap. And even some cultures now, I know Google, for example, they have little pods where employees can sleep during the day. I also heard that employees such as Whole Foods in the US have a policy that if an employee is tired, then they don't have to come to work. That's a good enough excuse not to come to work. Now, and I can hear some of you saying, geez, I'd love to work for them. The point is, a tired employee is an ineffective employee and is also going to be an unhappy employee. And when that sleep deficit builds up over time, it can lead to depression, overeating, and so many other negative things. So there's the acronym. It's called the news. It's very simple, so we can remember it. And it's not rocket science, as you can hear. These are things that you would have heard time and time again. But we want to take them from being common knowledge to being common practice. I encourage you to go to my website, timwise.com, to check out more exciting videos.